So you're going to DC. Now, whether you're a seasoned pro, by which I mean business traveler or West Wing politico, or you're visiting for the first time, this insider's guide should have something to whet your appetite.
Come on, y'all!
As a nation's capital, Washington, D.C. is hard to beat. It was founded as a symbol of unity for a newly independent land and has grown to become home to the world's biggest democracy. Everywhere you look, you'll see historic buildings that define a world view. The business of government is the lifeblood of Washington, D.C., but away from the wheeling and dealing of Capitol Hill, you'll find a vibrant metropolis full of surprises and unfamiliar delights. Over the last 10 years, Washington, D.C. has been transformed. The long-neglected neighborhoods have been revitalized with local markets and hip new bars and restaurants. And all this comes with a relaxed atmosphere that would tame the wildest political animal. But the real revolution has been at street level, with tourists flooding into D.C. More than 20 million visited last year, making this city one of America's biggest tourist attractions. And the first port of call for every tourist is the Mall. It's home to some of the most iconic architecture in American history, with the Washington Monument being my personal favorite. If you look closely, you'll notice that the stone on the top half is a different color to that of the bottom. That's because the American Civil War held up completion of the monument for more than 20 years. You used to have to climb the stairs, but now there's an elevator to whisk you to the observation deck, where you can see 360-degree views of the Capitol. Just a short walk away, you'll find Daniel French's imposing marble sculpture of Abraham Lincoln. It's the focal point of the Lincoln Memorial, but there are also inscriptions from his famous Gettysburg Address adorning the walls. And it was on these steps that Martin Luther King delivered his "I Have a Dream" speech in 1963. Have a look for the inscription on the spot where he stood. America's history has been marked by conflict, and there are a number of war memorials along the Mall that commemorate this nation's battles, including Korea and the Second World War. But for me, the most somber and elegant is the Vietnam War Memorial. These two black granite walls are angled into a V and inscribed with the names of the 58,000 soldiers who died in the nation's longest war. This memorial is hauntingly moving and often overwhelming for many visitors. At the top of the Mall is Washington's second most famous building, the Capitol. It's an impressive structure with a unique distinction that, by law, no other building in D.C. can be taller. It's home to the Senate and the House of Representatives, and tours are available on a first-come, first-served basis. But unfortunately, that invitation doesn't extend to this town's most famous building, the White House, which no longer offers tours to foreign nationals. I'm afraid the closest you'll get is a view through the railings, but it's still definitely worth a look. Now, if you want to take in all the sights but time isn't on your side, you can always take one of the many bus or tram tours on offer. But if you want a more unconventional view of downtown DC, just hire a Segway. It sure is fun. So why not drop in on Capital Segway? They offer the only official Segway tours of the city. If you explore the Mall at a more leisurely pace, you'll discover one of America's national treasures. The Smithsonian Institution comprises 17 museums in Washington, and taken together, they truly span the world and the ages. It's best to start at the castle, where you'll get information on all the institution's museums. But my favorite is the National Air and Space Museum. It's arranged over 2 sites, and you can see everything from the original Wright Brothers 1903 flyer to the Apollo 11 command module. And one of the best things about this museum is that all these aircraft are the real deal. They even organize specially themed family days, where you can meet the experts, see live performances, and participate in a variety of activities. But if sampling freeze-dried astronaut ice cream isn't for you, then why not try the world-renowned National Museum of Natural History, where you can catch a glimpse of the famously cursed Hope Diamond, or witness dinosaurs roam the planet once more in the giant IMAX theater. But if the crowds become too much, why not take a time out in the more sedate surroundings of the National Gallery of Art? Its elegant yet informal sculpture garden is home to some truly extravagant creations. And just around the corner is the hulking limestone-clad National Museum of the American Indian. It's one of the most popular new additions to the Smithsonian family, and the 20-foot totem pole, carved by Native American artist Nathan Jackson, is impossible to miss. And if you're feeling a bit peckish, you'll enjoy their renowned restaurant. It serves Indian food from all over the Americas, with my favorite being the Fire Pit Buffalo steak. Other museums that attract the crowds are the hugely popular Spy Museum, where you can trace the secret history of espionage. Or you could try the newly opened Museum, which is a $450 million cathedral to journalism. The tour starts with a 4D cinema experience, where you strap on a pair of goggles and watch a film about the founding of American journalism, complete with shaking seats, water spray, and flying bullets. People might come to DC for the monuments and museums, and some might even come just for the t-shirt. But with a little effort, Washington can be a beguiling city full of unexpected charm. Venture into the neighborhoods, and you'll find Washington's heartbeat. From hip to historic, DC's neighborhoods are defined as much by distinct personalities as specific blocks or grids. Georgetown is the most established of Washington's boroughs, and it's known for its designer boutiques, beautiful architecture, and endless list of bars and restaurants. You can shop your way down M Street, and then head north to discover the local boutiques of Wisconsin Avenue, before enjoying the excellent menu on offer at Martin's Tavern. This restaurant has hosted every president since Truman. And you can even ask to sit in the booth where JFK proposed to Jackie. And in the summer, the place to be seen is on the waterfront. And there's nothing more satisfying than chilling out with a cocktail at Sequoia. Georgetown hasn't drained the wallet too much, you could sample the more relaxed environment of the trendy Adams Morgan district, where the buttoned-up DC types let their hair down. Long considered the gateway community for immigrants, This district has an eclectic mix of cafes and restaurants, with the Middle Eastern-influenced Amsterdam falafel shop perfect for an afternoon snack. For an early evening lesson in all things Latin, you should try the Habana Village, where the salsa set really shakes. And the mojitos are awesome. Just south of Adams Morgan is the cultural hub of DuPont Circle, where arts and entertainment collide with stylish hotels and hip restaurants. But I love it for its literary leanings. You can read your way through the impressive array of bookshops that line the street. You can also opt for some me time by grabbing a coffee and sitting by the fountain watching the world go by. But if you feel like something more substantial, why not try the restaurant at the Tabard Inn? The menu changes every day, but the brunch is always great. This neighborhood renaissance is nowhere more evident than when you take a stroll down U Street. Once a no-go area for tourists, it's now a vibey den of shops, soul food restaurants, and jazz clubs, and has been rechristened the New U. You should drop in on Ben's Chili Bowl and try the Half Smoke. It's a Washington delicacy. Ben's booths and Formica tables have catered to the local black community since 1958. And this food joint is now a firmly established Washington landmark. But if you want to feel like a true political insider, then look no further than the old Ebbett Grill, just a stone's throw from the White House. It was a favorite hangout for Presidents Grant, Cleveland, and Roosevelt, and nowadays senators and lobbyists love to call it home. I recommend sampling the seafood. Its oyster bar is DC's most famous. But if you don't want to break the bank, you can rub shoulders and down some Guinness with the young staffers at the Dubliners. However, at the weekend, this part of town gives off a totally different vibe. And the folk of the venerable Eastern Market offer an eclectic mix of great food and fashion. Try the buckwheat blueberry pancakes. They're pretty special. For many years, during the twilight hours, DC was nicknamed Deserted City, but not anymore. When the sun goes down in Washington, there's plenty of action to be found. The nightlife doesn't center around a single strip. Instead, it simmers up from the ever-popular Georgetown to the hip and revitalized U Street. For a great happy hour, you should head to Mate. It's a favorite for the preppy Georgetown elite, and everything about the place is pretty impressive. But DuPont Circle's 18th Street Lounge, hidden above a mattress store, remains the standard bearer for hip nightlife seekers. It's run by the DJ duo The Thievery Corporation, and you'll find beautiful people, comfy couches, and some of the city's best DJs. However, local rivals Gazuza and the uber-cool airline-themed Fly Lounge are upping the stakes. Over U Street Way, the Hacienda-inspired Chicha Lounge has long been a beacon for great nightlife, and it's still regarded as one of the best little bars in DC. But the new kid on the block is Marvin. This themed bar pays homage to one of the city's most famous sons, Marvin Gaye. Musically, DC's history has been heavily influenced by jazz, and no jazz aficionado should miss a trip to Georgetown's Blues Alley. But for a more rootsy experience, why not try one of the great little jazz venues along U Street? This strip was once home to legends like Duke Ellington, Miles Davis, and Nat King Cole. And if you're after something with a bit more punch, then the 930 Club should be right up your alley. It's DC's #1 rock music venue. But be warned, these shows sell out fast, and it's standing room only for a good 2 hours. Not a place to get over your jet lag. For a more demure night out, why not go and see a show? The Kennedy Center is one of the world's premier performance spaces, and the newly renovated Opera House is home to the Washington National Opera, which performs under the artistic direction of Placido Domingo. There's also plenty of fringe theater on offer, with the Woolly Mammoth Theater Company being the most famous. This multi-award-winning venue is well regarded for nurturing new writing talent and being at the leading edge of American theater. And best of all, it's a great night out with pay-what-you-can performances for those on a tight budget. But if your wallet's welded shut after one too many nights on the town, then why not drop in on the Millennium Stage, also at the Kennedy Center, where you'll find an eclectic mix of free concerts every day from 6 p.m. When it's your bedtime, you'll want somewhere to rest your weary head. And Washington has something for everyone, from large-scale luxury to more modestly priced but equally charming hostelries. The elegant Hay Adams Hotel is as close as anyone can get to staying at the White House, short of being invited by the president. Originally designed in the 1920s as a residential hotel, the Hay Adams has always preserved the ambiance of a distinguished private home on Lafayette Square, and even offer rooms that overlook the White House. On a much larger scale, but with an equal pedigree in historical terms, the Wardman Park Marriott Hotel manages to be a pleasing blend of the old with the new. The red brick Wardman Tower offers exclusive boutique-style luxury with a rich history. It was home to many vice presidents, including Lyndon Johnson, but its most famous resident was the legendary socialite Pearl Mesta. She often threw huge parties in her 7th floor suite, which is preserved in its original layout and can be yours for the night. The neighboring Senate Tower offers a more contemporary setting, but it's just as satisfying an environment. You might remember I mentioned the restaurant at the Tabard Inn. Well, the hotel is also a great little place. The Tabard Inn combines a period feel and coziness for travelers on a budget, and is situated in the heart of DuPont Circle. It offers old worldly charm that is, well, very charming. If you've bitten off more than you can chew and want to take a break from the sightseeing, you'll find several unexpected oases of calm right in the heart of town. Take a bike ride along the C&O towpath, and leave all the hustle and bustle of DC way behind. Or venture into Rock Creek Park, where you can go for a walk along one of the many shaded paths. Or even rent a boat and go for a paddle on the Potomac. But one of my favorite places to get away from it all is just across the river at Arlington Cemetery. There's something solemn yet serene about this majestic place, and from on top of the hill, it offers up some of the best views of the city. Washington, D.C. has so much to offer, with its miles of museums and monuments, its thriving neighborhoods and busy art scene, but it's also an intimate, seductive place with a unique appeal. Bold, sassy, and hipper by the day, D.C. is a capital city that will always march the beat of its own drum.